Welcome back to another edition of Music Monday from the podcast Nurture the Mind. I am your host, Poots, and today we got another music reaction. A brand new artist, one that I have heard very little of, so I'm going to get right into it. This band is supposedly they fall under the genre of metal. It is Sleep Token. And we are going over the album Take Me Back to Eden. And I'm going to listen to the title track, Take Me Back to Eden. This was recommended by my good friend, Dakota Phillips. He told me that this song is long. And as I'm looking at it, it's 8 minutes and 20 seconds. So it is definitely a long song. But he said it is worth the listen because it is a journey. It is a journey of a song, and so I'm really intrigued by that. I don't really know what to expect. I actually started listening to this album probably like a month or so ago, but I only got through the first 2 tracks, and because it's been a while, I don't even really remember what they sound like. Chokehold in the Summoning. I've seen this band start to pop up on a lot of like YouTube videos of people who do music reactions. You know, I watch a lot of those because that's the space that I'm in. And supposedly this band is making a lot of headway. It says that this is their 3rd album. So I don't know if this is like their most popular album, even though it was released back in May 19th of this year. But supposedly they've just been growing in their following. Supposedly they got a lot of good music out there. I've also seen other people talk crap about them. So I don't know what to expect. I don't know anything about them. I'm intrigued because it says metal, but I've heard from some of the descriptions of this band on videos, it's like they kind of balance it out though and do other genres, explore with other genres. Yeah, I'm brand new to this band. I have no idea what to expect. We're just going to get into it. So Sleep Token, the album is Take Me Back to Eden, and we are listening to the title track, Take Me Back to Eden. It sounds like we're in a rainforest.
See you dream.
Oh, whoa. Was not expecting that.
Well, yeah, I spit blood when I wake up. Sing porcelain strange up in our brain.
Are we rapping now? What are we doing?
Days is the pain frame went down and I'm still messed up. Room feels like a meat freezer, I dangling like cold cuts. Missed calls, answer phones from people I just don't trust. Mirror talk, fake love, but I'll take a pound of your flesh before you take a piece of my paste up. White roses, black doves, godmother, rise up. I need you to see me for what I have become. I'm by those eyes like fire. I'm a wind insect, your funeral pyre. Come down, bite through these wires. I'm a waking hell like the gods grow tired. Reset my patient violence along both lines of the pathway higher. Grow back your sharpest teeth, you know my desire.
Is that a piano? How many instruments have they used on this song so far? That's a good question to ask.
I guess it goes to show, does it not? That we've no idea what we've got until we lose it.
Also, how many genres have they hit in this song?
Of love will keep it around. If we don't choose it, and I don't know what's got its teeth in me, but I'm about to bite back in anger. I'm about to sell some fury will bring back the glory of innocence.
I'm gonna go heavy again.
Those eyes like fire, I'm a wind insect, your funeral pyre. Come down, fight through these wires. I'm a waking hell and the gods grow tired. Reset my patient violence along both lines of a pathway higher. Grow back your sharpest teeth, you know my desire.
What the hell, dude? my God. All right, Take Me Back to Eden by Sleep Token off of the album Take Me Back to Eden. I mean, holy shit. That really was a whole entire experience. It kind of felt like I was watching a movie that was transitioning from scene to scene. Or the other thing that popped up in my head was when you're in a dream or a dreamlike state, and I know probably everybody can relate to what I'm saying, but have you ever had that phenomenon when you're in your dream and let's say you have 4 different scenes, but it seems like the dream, those 4 separate dreams are all in some way, shape, or form intrinsically linked to one another, but you can't figure out how you got from where the dream started to the next part. I've had that happen so many times, and dreaming is already such an expansive topic that we don't know a ton about. We know a little bit about it from psychology and the people that have researched it, but it's interesting because when you wake up and you come to your senses, things are kind of foggy and disorganized. And when you go back and you think about the dreams that you had, if you were lucky enough to have 4, because sometimes we dream and we don't remember what we dreamt of. Maybe you remember when you first wake up, but then it's hard to recall it later on throughout the day. But I always thought that was so fascinating. One of the many fascinating things about dreams is if you were to have 4 dreams in one night, they all kind of transition into each other. But you never question how you got from point A to point B. For some reason, it just makes a ton of sense in the dream world. You don't question it. And that is basically my take on this song. I'm going to have to go back. I mean, you can't get everything you need to know about a song in 8 minutes and 20 seconds. There's so many transitions. There's so many switches. I mean, they're at the end, they start going heavy and screaming. And it's like this subtle outro. It's like, bro, how could you make the screaming as an outro? Doesn't make sense to me. I'm going to have to go back and I'm going to have to listen. But just off of my first take, it's a beautifully crafted song. And again, I think it takes a lot of bravery. I was talking about this last week with Lil Uzi Vert being a rapper and covering Chop Suey from System of a Down. And you know how that takes vulnerability, that takes bravery. It's something that, you know, as an artist, if you fit into your certain genre, a lot of artists would be afraid to take that risk. And I would say with this song, this is its own project inside of an album, inside of a project. And so to take on that risk of creating such a long song and having it potentially fail because there are so many moving parts, I think they did a beautiful job at that. I think the experiment that they went for on this song worked out very well for them. It's very pleasing. At times I had my eyes closed and I was just kind of getting lost in the music and the peaceful state of mind that it was putting me in. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to the lyrics. I caught one lyric where he was talking about something about he was about to get angry or have some type of fury, but that would not bring back his innocence. I don't know if that's the exact line. So I was actually, before this video is over, I want to go to Google and figure out what Eden stands for or what it means, because I've heard that word. And I don't know what that's describing. Eden, this is just my assumption right now, but I think that may have something to do with the Bible and Christianity. I could be entirely wrong. I might be. But I want to go back And I want to research that word real quick and see what the definition is. Because when he said innocence, it made me think that like innocence in being a child, and when you're a kid, even if you say you have like some anxiety and some of these issues that start to manifest, when you're a kid, you're still kind of very unconscious to life's trivialities and the hardships that are going to come on later down the road. And that's not to say that, because like some kids, and I think for most people, have had a messed up childhood. And so they already kind of have that perspective. It's not like they have to get older to realize that there is hardships in life. But I'm saying typically when you're young, you are very unconscious to things that are going to happen later on, or, to what's actually going on in the real world. Like if you have good parents, I mean, they're going to try and protect you a little bit from that stuff. So that's what it made me think of, is like, as much as whatever anger and fury that he had, he could not go back to that innocence. I mean, that's gone once you get out of being a youth, and that may last for, I don't know. I think I was still kind of stuck in that state of mind all the way through high school. And then probably once I got in college, and then, 18, I went through a breakup with my high school sweetheart. And then things kind of started to get really rough when I was 21 and 22, dealing with anxiety and depression. So they could be talking about something completely different. That's just where my mind went. So before this video is over, I'm going to go research what Eden means. But really, oh my God, like this is a beautiful song. It's so well crafted. And like I said, I'm like, I wonder how many instruments they used. I wonder what type of, did they pull some sounds from the computer? Like the dude starts rapping at some point. So is there somebody in there making some beats as well? I don't know how many guys are in this band. I guess I shouldn't assume, there could be girls too, but man, that is a great song. And it's just such a expansive journey from start to finish. You really do go through different sets of emotions and different ways of thinking, and I think that's really cool, man. That's kind of uncharacteristic for what we typically see in music nowadays, and I'm kind of more so relating to artists or songs that fall on the radio, like radio hits. Like that song right there, correct me if I'm wrong if you guys have heard it on the radio, but I don't see how that song could make it to the radio, because it's so complex and it's so different and it's all over the place. When I think of radio songs and radio hits that always get played all the time, to me it's like those songs again fit in some type of formula. The artist has made a radio hit before and figured out, all right, like this is a type of song that's going to do well on the radio. Because let's be honest, when there are songs on the radio, typically those songs are a little bit more dull. They're a little bit more short. They don't necessarily always have a ton of substance. And this song is just very experimental and different. So, and it's long. It's, it's over 8 minutes. I just don't think it would ever find its way to the radio. And I don't think I'm crazy for thinking that. So, yeah, dude, I really enjoyed that song, and it just makes me even more curious to dig into the entire album and then just also see what these guys are really about. It sounds like they're from the UK, the third album from the Masked Anonymous Brits, so they're British, of Sleep Token is also the third in a conceptual trilogy that began with their 2019 debut Sundowning. Introduced with the string and dramatic lead-off single Chokehold, Take Me Back to Eden is another genre-defined exploration of music's outer limits. That's what I was saying, dude. This thing is so damn expansive. It's hard to put it in a narrowly defined box, incorporating elements of techno and tech metal alongside R&B, post-rock, and pop. often in the same song. That's why you're pulled in so many directions, because it's like all these different influences, all these different genres. No wonder it's hard to describe. But dude, like, I think that is the way that art, music, whatever form of art, I think that's how it should be, man. Is we should get away from labels and definitions and boxes, because it just limits us so much, especially in the creative process. Is like, why would you ever want to be limited? That's creation is about maybe definitely pulling influences from the past, things that influenced you. Like, those are your tastes. Those are that showcases your personality and what you grew up on. But if you're going to create a new album, it's like, all right, we're going to pull from our influences, because obviously we had to listen to certain music growing up to even have our taste buds be so refined. But we want to make something that's new, something that's unique, something that is very personal to us and maybe what we've been going through for the last 2 or 3 years. Because it always seems like for most artists, it takes a few years to keep working on that album and then eventually putting it out. And so I have a feeling, even outside of this song, like, I'm really going to enjoy this album, because they just seem like a group that is concerned with making something that has never been made before. And I mean, like, in the sound, in the presentation, and I commend that. That's super cool. So enough of my rambling. Love the song, man. I'm going to go look up Eden real quick just to see what the definition is. The garden in which Adam and Eve were placed at the creation. A delightful place, region, dwelling, paradise, a state of great delight, happiness, or contentment, bliss. Okay, so that gives me a lot of context kind of to what I was saying is, when you're a child, for the most part, you are in that place. Like, what's the statement? Like, ignorance is bliss. Because you're ignorant, because you're naive, because you haven't really gone through a whole lot of hardships, if you were raised in a good family, even if you had dysfunction in the household, which I think all of us have experienced, you still are not necessarily exposed to like the real hardships that you're going to face later on in life, because you're a kid, like to some extent we try and keep our kids safe, because they're innocent, like they're just entering this world, and as they grow up and develop and get all their faculties there, they're starting to make sense of things. And so for a while, even outside of, when you're a toddler, when you're in elementary school, going through middle school, high school, you're kind of in that place. And so it's a very interesting concept. If that's is what he's saying, is he wishes that he could go back to that place, but obviously that's dead and gone. And as you get older, you just start to realize all these things. I mean, even for me, I've said on the channel before too, like, these last 2 years, ever since I went full-time in the workforce, I realized like how boring and mundane life can be when you get stuck in your routine and in your schedule of work. Like, it's nice to have structure, but at the same time too, you don't want too much of that, because then it's like you're just repeating the same day over and over and over again. And when you're a kid, and even up until I was 24, so just even 2 years ago, I felt like things were changing like all the time, and I just kind of automatically assumed that this would be my life moving forward. And these last 2 years have kind of been a challenge, because it's been the opposite. Like, unfortunately, in America, our priorities are go to work, collect your paycheck, go home, watch TV, play video games, stuff like that. We're so caught in this matrix that we're never able to break out of it. And it is a sad reality of getting older, but it also kind of shows me and makes sense that like we got to be very careful about that. Like, we do need a job. We should find a meaningful career. We should try and help people. We got to make money. We got to pay for our bills, but we also have an obligation to not get stuck in that lifestyle. Maybe you got to make a sacrifice and stay there for a little bit, but we should all be doing everything in our power to create a meaningful life that we're going to enjoy as we get older, but still, make enough money to survive and thrive and help out other people. And if we end up having a family, getting married, having kids, we got to be able to take care of those people as well. So yeah, I could go on and on about this subject, but that's a very interesting concept. Going back to the original place of creation before Adam and Eve were conscious. I think we'd all love to be back in that mindset, because it's like you really don't have to worry about things. I think that in a paradoxical sense, growing older and becoming conscious of these things and fighting through the struggles that we all have to go through, although a lot of our struggles are going to be different from individual to individual, getting through those things and not letting that be the self-fulfilling prophecy and the definition of your life, that you don't have to cave to those things, you get over these problems. I think that's a better story to tell than the people that are so damn ignorant that they have no idea what's going on. And yeah, it might be nice to live in that place, but I like being a deep thinker. I like being a creative thinker. I like problem solving. I like having meaningful conversations. And to some extent that is a burden, because I think typically and historically over my life, I've always kind of been an overthinker, and that's definitely plagued me in a lot of areas, but it also makes me very capable, I guess, just an interesting person to talk to. Not to toot my own horn, but I can't talk to people that are so fucking ignorant or don't have any deep thought process, dude. It's like nails on a chalkboard. It's like you can't get anywhere with them. So those are my thoughts. Such a good song. Thank you, Dakota, for the recommendation. I'm going to continue to listen to this album and this group as a whole. Maybe I'll do a review of the entire album once I get through it. As always, guys, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Please like the video. If you got something from it, please share the video, the message with your friends, to social media, like tell somebody about it. And also, like, if you have any suggestions, if you have some music that you think I would like to check out that I might be interested in, please put that suggestion in the comments below, and eventually I will get to it. With all those things that I just mentioned, it really helps push my message and my videos and my content into the YouTube algorithm so it can get in front of more people. And that's honestly, word of mouth is the best way to grow a business, a channel on YouTube, a podcast, whatever it is. So I'm relying on you guys. You know, I put in the work, I show up, I do these reactions, I give it my all, my entire attention, my focus, my thought process is all driven into these videos. All that I ask is that you do one of those things that I mentioned. That way, this channel can grow to its full potential. And so I thank you guys so much. I mean, this channel is so much fun. This journey has been amazing. I continue to find just, new music that I love and I enjoy, and it just keeps me stimulated, man. It keeps me in a good place mentally. So I thank you guys so much for showing up and supporting me on these videos. And I say that a lot, but I think it should always be addressed. Anyways, I thank you guys once again. I will see you on the next video. Take care. Bye-bye. See you later.